Almost 167 years ago, when black people were used as slaves and treated less than humans, there was one woman who fought for herself. Yes, she just didn't only fight for her life, but her freedom in the court. We are talking about Bridget Mason, a slave, walking 2,000 miles and reaching California, demanding freedom, which she got. After that, she became a nurse and ran a midwifery business, earning a large fortune. She was the first black person in Los Angeles to be a landowner, and her fortune equaled $7.5 million in today's value. But how did she rewrite her life story? Welcome to a new episode of Black Culture Diary, a channel where we talk about less-known and hidden black history, culture, arts, and lost civilization. We scrutinize history here to bring the black culture back on the surface again. We would like to thank you, the members of our community who have been watching our videos and supporting us. For those who are new, we encourage you to join our community in supporting and building a strong black history education medium. In this episode, we will tell you about a strong black lady who was a slave but struggled and became the richest landowning Los Angeles resident. Let's get started. Bridget Mason, affectionately known as Biddy, was born on August 15, 1818, in either Hancock County, Georgia, or Mississippi. It was a time when slavery was considered normal, and people used to keep black Africans as slaves. As a young child, Biddy experienced a heart-wrenching separation from her parents and was sold multiple times. She was even forced to work on different plantations in Georgia, Mississippi, and South Carolina. During her time on John Smithson's plantation in South Carolina, Biddy found solace in helping the house servants and midwives. She learned valuable skills in medicine and midwifery, even though she was forbidden to learn how to read or write. It should be known that by then, slaves were considered a commodity, so they were given as a present to each other. Biddy became an essential member of the Smith family when she was given as a wedding present to Robert Marion Smith and Rebecca Smith, cousins of John Smithson, at the age of 18. Biddy's expertise in medicine and midwifery made her an invaluable asset to the Smiths, especially in their Logtown, Mississippi plantation. She dedicated herself to caring for Rebecca Smith, who often fell ill, and assisted in the deliveries of their 6 children. But that was not it. Biddy's responsibilities extended to working in the cotton fields and tending to livestock, showcasing her resilience and hard work. While living on the Smiths plantation in Mississippi, Biddy had 3 daughters, Ellen in 1838, Anne in 1844, and Harriet 4 years later. The father of all 3 children was likely Robert Smith himself. These children not only added to Smith's wealth but also represented additional slave labor, sadly reflecting the dark realities of the time. Around 1844, a significant change occurred in Robert Smith's life as he embraced the Mormon faith, becoming a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. In March 1848, Smith, along with a group of Mississippi Mormons, including Biddy and her 3 daughters, embarked on a remarkable journey to the Salt Lake area in present-day Utah. The group consisted of 56 white individuals and 34 slaves, traveling over 2,000 miles along the challenging overland trail, passing through several states. Biddy and the other slaves walked diligently behind the wagons and livestock, fulfilling essential tasks such as cooking, cleaning, and tending to the animals. Biddy's skills were put to use as she assisted in delivering children born to both slaves and white women during the journey. However, destiny had more surprises in store for Biddy. When a group of Mormon pioneers set their sights on establishing a new settlement in San Bernardino, California, Robert Smith decided to join them. Biddy and the other slaves continued their journey, unaware that they were moving toward potential freedom. In 1849, California drafted a constitution that strictly prohibited slavery. By September 1850, California had joined the Union as a free state, allowing only those slave owners who had arrived before 1850 to keep their slaves as indentured servants. Unfortunately, Smith and his slaves arrived in California in 1851, seemingly unaware of the state's newly established status as a free state. In San Bernardino, Biddy received guidance and support from free black individuals such as Charles and Elizabeth Rowan, who had accompanied her from Utah, as well as Charles Owens and Manuel Pepper. Biddy's daughter Ellen caught the eye of Charles Owens, while Pepper desired to marry the daughter of Biddy's friend, Hannah, who was another slave owned by Smith. By 1855, anti-slavery sentiments were growing stronger in California. Realizing the changing tides, Smith decided to move his family and slaves to Texas, where slavery was still permitted. He intended to either settle there or profit by selling his slaves. However, their journey faced a delay due to Hannah's impending childbirth, the child being fathered by Smith himself. During this waiting period, the group camped in the Santa Monica Mountains. While they camped, Elizabeth Rowan and Robert Owens, the father of Charles Owens and a successful businessman, successfully convinced the county sheriff to prevent Smith from taking his slaves out of the state. Concerned for the safety of the Smith slaves, they were held in the county jail until their legal status could be determined. Before we continue further, tell us, are you enjoying the video? If yes, please like and share the video, and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black culture, history, civilization, and identity. Let's continue now. Rowan and Owens filed a petition arguing that Smith was unlawfully keeping slaves in a free state. In contrast, Smith claimed that they were part of his family rather than slaves. Smith argued that the enslaved individuals had willingly agreed to help his family during their journey to Texas, and he promised that they would be set free once they arrived there. However, Judge Hayes had doubts and sensed that there might be more to the story than what was being said. Since the laws at that time did not allow Black individuals to testify in court, the judge made a remarkable decision. He invited all 14 people involved in the case, including the enslaved individuals, to his chambers to hear their own accounts of what happened. During this private gathering, the truth gradually emerged. The enslaved Black Africans shared a completely different version of events, contradicting the claims made by Robert Smith. Taking their testimonies and the presented evidence into consideration, Judge Hayes made a groundbreaking decision. Judge Hayes declared that the entire group of enslaved individuals should be granted immediate freedom. This was a historic ruling, the first of its kind in California, and it set an example for future cases in the state's courts. It established a legal framework that aimed to challenge the institution of slavery and protect the rights of those who had been unjustly enslaved. As part of the legal process, one of the individuals involved, known as Biddy, decided to take the surname Mason for official documents. She became Bridget Mason. Additionally, she requested a special provision to receive a copy of the legal document, ensuring that she would always have tangible proof of her newfound freedom. Following their liberation, Robert Owens extended a warm invitation to Biddy and her family to live with him in Los Angeles. Ellen soon married Charles Owens, and Biddy, with her remarkable skills in midwifery and nursing, began working for Dr. John Strother Griffin. Her reputation quickly grew as she became renowned for her herbal remedies and adeptness in delivering babies for families from various backgrounds. Biddy charged $2.50 per day for her services, a substantial wage for an African-American woman during that time. Her compassionate nature led her to assist those who couldn't afford her fees. Over 10 years of working as a midwife, Biddy managed to save $250. Once Biddy Mason saw how Robert Owens had succeeded in real estate, she decided to give it a try herself. Some people say she became really focused on investing in land, but others believe she was mostly doing it to make sure her family had a good future. In 1866, when Biddy was 48 years old, she bought her first piece of land on Spring Street. It cost her $250 and was located between 3rd and 4th Streets. Spring Street was an important road that connected to the bustling Main Street. 2 years later, Biddy expanded her land ownership by purchasing more property near where Charles Owens lived on Olive and Charity Street. Back then, that area was considered to be outside of town, but now it's right in the heart of the city's old part. Biddy had big plans for the land she bought on South Spring Street. She wanted it to be a special place for her family to live, so she built a 2-story wooden house there. From 1878 to 1890, the Mason family made that house their home, even though they owned other properties as well. For the next 18 years, she continued to rent accommodations to others. In 1884, Biddy sold a portion of her property for $1,500. With the proceeds, she built a commercial building and rented out storerooms on the ground floor. Biddy and her family resided on the 2nd floor. As time went on, her neighborhood rapidly developed, and by the early 1890s, it became part of the main financial district of Los Angeles. Biddy's wise investments and hard work made her the wealthiest African-American woman in Los Angeles by the late 1800s. Biddy Mason was very careful about keeping copies of all the papers and documents related to her land. She wanted to make sure she had proof of everything. Well, she was an entrepreneur and she had learned how to handle things. Biddy was known for being generous and kind to everyone around her. She helped people of all races by giving them food and a place to stay. She donated money to churches that welcomed everyone, not just one race. Biddy also supported schools and visited people in prison, bringing them gifts and help. People who needed medical attention would line up in front of her house on Spring Street. Spending a successful life and having a fortune equal to $7.5 million in today's value, Biddy Mason did what nobody could. But on January 15, 1891, she passed away, surrounded by the people she had cared for and helped. At first, her grave at Evergreen Cemetery in Los Angeles didn't have a marker, but she was never forgotten. Her grandsons, Robert and Henry, moved their business from Main Street to Spring Street as a tribute to her. Then, in 1905, Robert announced his plans to build the Biddy Mason Memorial Institute. This special place would help young Black people find jobs and have better opportunities in life. Did you know about Bridget Mason, a powerful personality who fought against slavery and got her freedom? Isn't it inspiring that even 167 years ago she did what was considered impossible? Let us know your take on her life and her struggles until becoming a landowner, entrepreneur, and philanthropist. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We have decided to bring videos on something nobody talks about: the Black culture, civilization, history, and evidence about how glorious Blacks have been. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.